All right, podcast number 1.
All right. So what are we talking about today?
We are talking about our new podcast.
Our new podcast?
Yeah.
We're doing that?
Yeah,
All
you
right.
and me.
Let's do it.
First episode.
All right.
This is the moonnco podcast, where we help you take back control of your well-being and regain your mental clarity. Join our growing community for resources, support, and guidance at moonnco.com. This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice.
Hey everybody, it's Nick and Andrea here, and this is the moonnco podcast. So this is our first episode. We're super excited to be here and sharing this with you. So since it's our first episode, we wanted to go through just the kind of introductory information about what is moonnco, who are we, what's our story, what's our background, what are our goals for the brand, and what are some of the things we have up and coming with the brand. So I think first, what is moonnco, Nick?
What is moonnco? That was great. Appreciate the intro for us. So what is moonnco? moonnco is a wellness community that's primarily focused on helping individuals find their path to well-being, whatever that may mean for them, whether that's sort of spiritually, mental health wise, physical health, integrative health wise, kind of all encompassing, creating a resource for people to kind of dive in and take control of their own health.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the brand?
Yeah, so the brand, as I kind of alluded to already, really came from our experiences as a family. Our daughter had a medical condition that she was diagnosed with at a very young age and was very sick for the first 2 years of her life, 2.5 years of her life. And we really, out of that, had to take a lot of, I'm struggling with the word. We really had to dive in ourselves and do a lot of soul searching, a lot of research, a lot of advocating, a lot of asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
getting multiple opinions, and just really pushing and advocating for the things that we felt strongly about with her journey. And we want to give back to other individuals and families that could be in a similar situation where they feel lost, hopeless, their child or themselves is very sick and doesn't seem like getting any better with what, doing everything they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in a position where we were able to, research and dig in and get second, third, fourth opinions, different doctors in Boston, in Florida where we lived, and different, hire a nutritionist and hire different things. I'm sure we'll talk more about her condition at some point, but it's a GI related condition. So we really just hired everyone that we could to
Mm-hmm.
kind of uncover the rocks, because her condition is something that's, I believe, not well understood at this point. So we really just had to overturn the rocks until we found one that worked. And now she's doing amazing and great, but we both have felt a big pull towards helping others, giving back, trying to create a community where people feel heard, where they feel supported,
Mm-hmm.
where, we're not really from an approach of like traditional versus non-traditional. It's not really about that for us. We lean on a more holistic side generally, so that is the feel of the brand, but we are not against really any option, right? Traditional medicine or not. So our goal is not to steer people in a direction, it's to help them take control of their health, physical, mental, spiritual health, and to advocate for themselves, because at the end of the day, no one is going to advocate for you or for your child the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really where it came from. I guess I went off on a bit of a tangent.
That was
but
excellent.
I guess that's the point,
That was
right?
excellent.
But I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, Nick. But
Yeah, no, I think that was wonderful. That was a great explanation. I totally agree with everything you said. You know, I think part of it is that, you know, that journey when you're going through those difficult times and those difficult conditions, and we try to look at things from the perspective of mental health, behavioral health, as well as your physical health, and kind of, you know, where are those parts of your life that you need to, or that you instinctively feel as though if you worked on and sort of improved and had more information or more knowledge or more guidance, that you could be seeing an increased quality of life. And I think for us, we didn't even realize, kind of, I know I didn't, like, sort of what I was going through mentally, going, like, during that time period, and like us as a family, and then kind of coming on the other side of that, like that whole journey was, you know, there were resources and there are definitely, you know, people that are out there. But when I think about that journey, like some of the connections with other parents and those just real raw conversations of just like, here's kind of what I'm dealing with and what I'm facing, whatever that is, whether it's, you know, emotionally, the physical ailment that just doesn't seem to be resolving, or conflicting of approaches of like you said, you know, Western medicine is saying to do this, and there's benefits to that, and there's a lot of stability with that. There's a lot of, you know, support financially and just institutionally. But then there's also sort of these holistic remedies that, you know, have some merits, and you know, like you said, like we're not, you know, I don't have all the answers by any by any stretch of the imagination. I just think we've been put in a situation where we had the advantage to kind of ask some questions and go about things in a little bit different way that, you know, brought us to a place where ultimately our daughter went from, you know, being on 7 medications a day and needing weekly blood transfusions to diet therapy. And like that's, you know, to me that's something powerful. There's something there that we feel, you know, we want to share with you all, and kind of help where we can. You know, we're not medical experts. We don't claim to be. We don't have all the answers, but I think that's you know, kind of the goal and the mission.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Anything else?
No, I think that's a good introduction of where, you know, where the idea came from. Like Nick said, when she started to get well, we were obviously thrilled and overjoyed and extremely happy to see our daughter starting to thrive and grow. She was the same weight for over a year, and just seeing her, just the energy she had, and then realizing, wow, she had no energy. She was so sick. But then I think Nick and I realized, like, oh, I think she's not the only one that had a, you know, strong experience here. Like we both came out of it and just realized, like, we have some things to process here. Like having a sick child and being in what felt like a code red situation 24/7 for that long was awful. And, you know, once we started to get some breathing room and we started to see improvement, we both were still like mentally feeling like, well, something, you know, we just, it was just, there was trauma there, right? We both realized, like, we have gone through a change here too, and being new parents and having to deal with all these extra complications was tough.
A global
you know,
pandemic in there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. She was born in 2020, so yeah, right in the middle of COVID. So it was just so much uncertainty, and even when things started to get better, we both felt like there's some things we need to address, and, you know, both as individuals, as a couple, as a family, just, you know, then like realizing, okay, like our world isn't code red 24/7 anymore. Like we focused all our energy on getting our daughter well, and then we realized we had been neglecting ourselves, right? And not even, you know, I don't think there was any way to not, right? It just was awful. I just remember looking at him at some points and just saying, like, somebody has to help us. I don't know what to do. I feel like every day we have to make a decision that I don't know what the right answer is, and no one seems to know what the right answer is. And through a lot of research and a lot of dedication to it, I feel like we've learned so much about the human body and the mind and spirituality, and that's where we both have started taking a separate path that I think works really well together, which is exactly why this is coming together as this brand is, you know, I am really focused on physical well-being and how to really understand your body and understand what is the root cause of what you're dealing with, because this might not be a popular opinion with some people, but there is I feel that 95% of disease and discomfort that people have, there's a root cause issue there that's being ignored or just is not even known. So where, I've gone off on learning and digging in and learning about her condition and the GI system in general, and just the body in general, and it's amazing, and the things that bodies can do. I mean, especially like becoming a mom, like seeing what your body does to grow a baby and have a baby and feed a baby. I mean, it's insane, like when I think about it. And then it's like yeah. And then it's just like, oh well, you're sick, and people, you're like people's discomfort is sometimes dismissed, and I feel like our bodies are extremely, and our minds, right? Like we're just...
I don't know if it's necessarily dismissed. I just think that there's a lot of really strange restrictions on the medical system finding out what the root cause is, and like you said, giving, like, you go in for those appointments, and this isn't this like interesting. Like, I'm going through a medical situation right now where it's like we've gone through the holistic path, and it's like, okay, I think it's time for Western medicine, because they have different approaches to things that can solve different things very effectively, very efficiently, mm-hmm. right? But then there's other complex conditions in which you go in for your 15-minute appointment, and you leave that day, and it's the only thing you think about, right? Probably, or you're trying to work on other things, or there's always in the back of your mind those kind of, well, what about this scenario, or what about that? I wonder if I try this. Like, there is that constant, and I feel like, it's impossible for a provider alone to just to have that macro view of how these decisions are impacting you, right, and impacting your life, and mm-hmm. impacting your quality of life and your relationships and these things, right? And to me, that's where I feel like the missing link is. Like, there's a combination of, some of these newer, and not even, I don't want to say newer, but like there's more sound research coming in on some of these principles, or at least some hospitals that are exploring the research in it in some ways. But I mean, to go on the kind of not woo-woo side of it, but to go on that other opposite end of the spectrum is like some of these principles around diet therapy, around meditation, around sound healing, around holistic health, like these things have been around for thousands of years.
Yeah,
it's not new, but the information and the way in which it's sort of positioned as an option has a very real stigma. There's a very real cost. There's a very real mm-hmm. sort of legal implication in some scenarios. So it's tough. And ultimately, the only, in my opinion, the only way you can really get to a place where you feel comfortable about a decision is if you have all those options and you say, okay, this is what's right for me. Mm-hmm. And yes, this may not be what, this doctor would say, or this may not be, or I am going to take a medication for that because that's what I need. Because for whatever reason, I've tried the holistic path or whatever, or I just need relief now. And that's both of those are okay. Right. And we'll get into this more in another episode too, but this goes into my whole kind of perspective on spirituality, which is the same kind of principle where it's I don't know, both prayer and meditation can, that's Franklin's upset about that.
Yeah, I guess so.
that bothered Franklin.
So I think the last thing that we wanted to talk about a little bit is, now that we've kind of talked about our story and what the goals are, is just what is coming. We've been thinking of this idea for a long time now, mm-hmm. right? We've been working on, trying to figure out the right brand and really the right paths and how do we want to do this for a while. But now that we're finally here and taking this step of, okay, let's just put it out there and let's just go. Because we can't help anyone if we're just talking about it to ourselves in our house. So as kind of unnerving as this is, we really feel strongly that we need to share this. And so what's coming is,
a lot of really cool things in the works. I mean, I think, first and foremost is getting this podcast out and kind of getting our message out there and creating more content to find our audience. And and then from there, just you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, the website is, you know, up and running, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Nick's been working really hard on, I mean, building it, right? And he built it. So I think next we wanted to talk about just, you know, what's coming, like what are we working on? You know, this is our first podcast episode, but we're hoping, you know, to get this will be our kind of launching point of just getting our information out there, sharing some of the resources that we think could be really helpful. We're going to be starting a
community, yeah.
a free community to try to get people together that are also interested in this space, right? We don't, like Nick said, we don't have all the answers by any means. We're not perfect. We're both on our journeys with all
Right.
of this, right? Working through some of our physical, mental, spiritual things that we want to work on and learning along the way. So we're definitely not, I don't want to say we're not perfect. We're, I think, becoming experts in this area.
Some areas, yeah.
So, you know, we feel very strongly that we have a lot of good knowledge to share, but I think the point is we're, you know, everyday parents that went through a tough situation that changed us individually and as a family, and we want to share that. So the website is, you know, up and running. Nick spent a lot of time building it and working on that, so we're really excited about that. And then we're going to be doing these podcast episodes every week, so we'll start, you know, pushing them out on there too. So once you find us, you can just keep listening along to the journey for sure.
For sure.
We're going to start a free community.
Yep.
So that'll be a place to
get some exclusive content, some
different
information, some resources, some, you know, it's a place to kind of go, like a home to kind of go to when you're kind of looking for answers or looking for resources or things of that nature.
Yeah, and we'll be putting content in there, but I think the goal is really for the people to come together and support each other. And there's things that people might have questions on that we haven't dealt with before, but maybe someone else in the community has, or maybe you have, and you'll be able to answer some of those questions. Some of the groups that I'm involved with on Facebook that were related to our daughter's illness and some of the parent groups that I belong to on there, and they have been very helpful as far as finding people that might have answers to questions that you have. So we're hoping to kind of make one that is not just focused on one area of wellness, right? But it focuses on all areas of wellness, right? And people that are looking for answers, support, guidance, resources. So we're super excited about that too.
And create some fun experiences too, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be putting out some music playlists, just kind of listen throughout the day, some that are like more meditation, solfeggio focused, and we're talking about, you know, sound healing, kind of the benefits of just listening to that throughout the day, and then some just, you know, good feel tracks that we enjoy that kind of put us in the right mindset and right headspace. So kind of, you know, come and check those out, and yeah, we're gonna be offering coaching sessions, I think, pretty soon, right? Both of us are finishing up our certifications, which is pretty exciting. So we get some fun and cool offers around that, and down the road some live virtual, you know, guided meditation sessions, sound healing sessions, which I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, come hang out. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you listening, and yeah, look forward to having you come along the journey with us.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.